So you're writing a business plan, setting a schedule. This should be your number one thing in that plan and in that schedule. Hi guys, good morning. It's Michael from the 101 Connection. Yes, back in my usual spot. Yeah, we do great business shows, great lifestyle shows. You can tell I love the lifestyle. Yeah, this is a really interesting one because, so many times I will sit down with people and, if I'm doing a mentorship session with them and they'll start ramming on their business plan, going through it. Some will look like War and Peace and it's like, oh my goodness, does anyone ever read this stuff? Business plan should be nice and simple, 1 or 2 pages. Make them fast, make them snappy. You're going to change it as you go anyway. As I like to say, a B grade plan executed with enthusiasm will always beat an A grade plan. Falling over my tongue a little bit this morning, guys, sorry. Yeah, but this is the number one thing that should be in it. The very first thing you should be going, what's going to be my space? What's going to be my time frame for innovation? Oh yeah, it should be number one, because this world moves really, really rapidly. New technologies come along, new ideas come along. Look, when you're new and fresh in a business, I'm going to say you're going to be coming up with ideas left, right and center, filling books of them. You probably go, oh, I've got too many ideas, I just need to stop. No, you do not need to stop. What happens is, when you get yourself a bit of your own space, whether that's just a quiet spot in the garden, as Breezy, sitting there watching rabbits and deer go by his place. What a nice spot, eh? But yeah, you can be anywhere. You can have your own quiet little study. Maybe you like to go to the beach. Maybe you like to come down to a harbour like I do. It doesn't matter. You've got to find yourself your little quiet spot, and it has to be a scheduled time. And in that time is when you're going to give yourself time for innovation. You're going to be sitting there going, this is my time just to dream about my business. And the reason I say you've got to do it from the get-go is because at the get-go, you're already in that frame of mind. You're already scribbling down ideas. You're already talking to friends. You're already excited about what you're doing. You're already going, this is magic. This is going to make me a millionaire. Woohoo! And then people say, I had all these dreams and they didn't work out because you stopped dreaming. The dreams don't work out if you stop dreaming. Guys, innovation is where it's at. It's where the passion is. It's why you got into this thing in the first place, because you had your own ideas, your own thought process, the way you were going to treat customers, the way you were going to treat suppliers, the way you were going to design your products, the way you were going to do your delivery. And you've got to keep it fresh. And if you do it from the get-go, it's a habit. And you know what they say, once you do a habit for 30 days, it just becomes commonplace. You just can't break it. It's almost impossible. It just becomes part of your DNA. And what happens is, it pushes you and your business along. No, you don't have to get to a certain level before you do the next step. It's absolute garbage. You can take the next step whenever you like. Look at Steve Jobs. I'll use him. I know he's probably worn out. He goes to a Xerox meeting, with a new Xerox photocopier. This is a long time ago. And he had a mouse connected to it, and they were saying, they had this idea, but it was useless, and it didn't really work for a photocopier. He saw it and went, we'll have that. We'll put that on computers, and I'll tell the guys I don't want to have a wire, and I don't want... So, what is my point? It's same with the phones. He was looking at BlackBerry, and he just sat in his quiet little spot and invented his own phone. Happened to be the iPhone, and happened to kill BlackBerry overnight. They all do this. Virgin Records was sitting there going, I'm sick of people paying so much. I'm sure we can sell records cheaper than this. And when they worked it out, they said, all we got to do is go get an artist. I think it was Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells. It's amazing, but they never stopped innovating. Never. They looked at different ways of doing things all the time. And they used to have the little get-togethers. I remember there's a photograph of Branson back in the early days. And they're just in the lounge room, sitting on the floor with their cans of Coke and scribble paper. And it's their ideas session. It's their idea session. Look, if you're struggling with this stuff, just find a few groups of, crazy friends like yourself. Crazy people really help. and start scribbling down your ideas for you and your business, what you can do with it, what you can make it new, what you can make it invigorating. You know, you might be doing drop shipping at the moment and using other people's products, but do you have your own? Could you make your own? Could you start slipping your own products into that? You know, you can do amazing things. But when you very first start, and if you haven't done it, do it immediately. Start scheduling a time for innovation, for you just to have some quiet time by yourself every day. Only has to be 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. It's not a lot. It's like going to the gym. It's not a lot. It's just a habit. And let your mind run free. Don't forget, innovation should be the number one thing in your business plan. It should be the number one thing in your time schedule. I always say, in mine, I got a mission statement. I'm constantly analyzing what's a special value, distinctive capability I've got that's got special value for my people, my customers, you know, my suppliers and my staff. But on my right hand side, I have what I call my renewal program. And I've actually written out how I'm going to keep renewal fresh and new and invigorating and exciting. And I've actually written that down on the right hand side. And my motto that I write across the bottom is that a grade B plan executed with enthusiasm will beat a grade A plan every single time. That's just me. But that's important. It's your number one go-to. It's the number one thing that will drive you to success the fastest way possible. Do that, guys. Hey, and if you like these conversations, why don't you join us on the radio station? Go to One-on-One Connection, the101connection.com.au. Download that app. We'd love you to do that. And if you want to have a session with me, look for a breakthrough for you and your business, click that mentorship button. Just send me a message. We'll book a time that's suitable for both of us, and we'll have a chat absolutely obligation free. I love doing this stuff anyway. I look forward to chatting to you. And as we always say at the One-on-One Connection, it's all about your success.